I'd like to invite Euphonik to come up and say a couple of words about their journey together, their brotherhood, the mentorship relationship, and how he's also carrying forward.
How did you convince him to speak?
Yeah, he knows I don't speak. Whenever we DJ and it's time to like make an announcement or whatever, I'm always like, hey, you are the columnist. You take the mic and you talk. You're the one that talks on the radio a lot. Thank you for having me here. My name is Themba Mgosi, aka Euphonik, as has been mentioned. I actually met Fresh in 1997. This was when YFM had just started. And he was one of the DJs there, and he was doing one of the shows which basically had mixed DJs from all around the country come and do and showcase their stuff, called the Mad Half Hour. So I hadn't officially met him then, but the way I believe in mentorship is that you don't physically have to have met a mentor for that person to be someone significant in your journey or your path of greatness. So that's officially when I met him in '97. And then I remember I'm not sure how old I was, but I was definitely under the age. I snuck out of home. I went to a club in Benoni called Planet Catsies. I don't know if you remember playing there. And I couldn't get into the club, but I stood outside with my friends waiting for Fresh to rock up. Big guy rocks up holding his vinyl case. Me and my friends are standing on the side. He looks at us, greets us like he knows us, and carries on walking. Then one of my friends says, tell the bouncer with him, tell the bouncer with him. So we go, we tell the bouncer, no, like we're with Fresh. That's what we're waiting outside all the time. So this guy's like, okay, get in. So that was my first club experience because of this guy. So I remember standing in the front of that club watching this guy like do this thing called DJing, and I was just like blown away by how he just interacted with people, how he treated everyone around him. I mean, from greeting us at the door, to greeting the bouncers, to greeting the managers, to walking into the DJ box and saying hi to the DJ that's playing before him, to literally while he's playing, watching the crowd and interacting with the crowd, and just eye contact, which is something that like, it was my first club experience, but as I got into the DJ industry, I realized that like actually not a lot of people do this. So it's one of the traits that I've picked up from Fresh, that listen, every single person, it doesn't matter whether they're cleaning the club, the bouncer, the barman, anything, every single person adds to the ecosystem of this thing called the club world, and each one of those people makes sure that the person that's coming to party is having fun. Because as you can imagine, if the toilets aren't clean, doesn't matter how kick-ass the DJ is, the night's not going well. If the bartender isn't doing his job right, it doesn't matter how amazing the DJ is, the night is messed up. So those are some of the things that I've learned from Fresh. And then officially I met Fresh in 2003. I got a residency at a club called Huzu, and in 2004, early 2004, Eldo says to me, listen, for the next 2 months there's going to be someone else that's going to be a resident here. So I'm like, okay, cool, who? He says, DJ Fresh. I was like, what? Now you need to understand, I'd stopped DJing for the year that I was in matric, which was 2002. Got sort of kind of back into DJing in 2003 when I started varsity. At the end of 2003, by pure chance and coincidence, I landed this residency at Huzu, which was like in November. So November, December, and then in January, all of a sudden, DJ Fresh and Euphonik are headlining Huzu for 2 months. The first day he walked into the DJ box, I was nervous as hell, right? As you can imagine, like, it's one of your idols, it's someone that you've looked up to, but you've never actually said or had the opportunity to be like, yo, like, part of the reason why I do this thing, the way I do it, is because of you. Anyway, he walks into the DJ box. First thing he does before he does anything else is greet me. Like, and not greet me like, whatever. Like, he greets me like, hey, yo, what's up? Tato. So, till this day, when I introduce myself to people, I never say, hi, Euphonik. I always say, Themba. And that's stuff that I picked up from Fresh. That, like, you always need to remain humble, remain, like, down to earth, always remember that people don't know who you are or where you come from. So even if you are the biggest superstar, always introduce yourself like nobody knows you, because chances are they don't, you know. The residency happens. Fresh says to me, hey, listen, I like some of the stuff that you're doing. Do you want to come play on my radio show? Whoa. He came into the DJ box, or like through the 2 months, I was always saying, yo, check this record out. You might like this. And he'd take records, and we started swapping records. And this was in the first 2 months of him knowing who I was, which says a lot. Anyway, he asks me to mix on his show. I go and I put together a mix, and it's the worst mix in the world. Like, it was terrible. And I knew it was terrible because he calls me and is like, my man, this mix, no, it's not gonna happen. So I'm like, what's wrong with the mix? He goes into detail explaining what's wrong with the mix and what I should fix about the mix. Anyway, I go back, I fix the mix, and I give it back to him, and I start playing on DJ Fresh's shows. So I'm gonna run you through like a lot of things that happened. 2006, Fresh is moving to 5FM, right? So now myself, Kent, Dino Bravo, who are all residents on Fresh's show, are like, this guy is going to 5FM, we're not going with him. Nah, we're not going with him. Because this is where we want to be. We understand the market understands us, we love it, and we're still new and we're still growing in this market. And now he wants to go to that white station that nobody listens to. We're not going there, right? For 3 months, while Fresh is also like, you know, like getting ready for his 5FM show, like out of concern, Kent and Dino send me in. They're like, yo, ask this guy if he's like for real about this thing. So I'm like, dude, this 5FM thing, are you sure about it? He's like, my man, let's go, we're gonna rock it. Anyway, we're like, you know what? I get back to the guys and I'm like, gents, the reality of the situation is that like we're gonna either stay at YFM with people that we don't know, or we're gonna move with Fresh and support someone that's supported us. So if he's taking the plunge, maybe let's take the plunge ourselves, because we don't know what might happen. And if we stay here, we don't know how long we'll last. Anyway, we all moved to 5FM, and as you can imagine, it becomes the insane and massive success that it's become, and that it was. I mean, the Ultimix at 6 was at some point the highest listened to feature on radio in South Africa, period. You know? And that was from him supporting us and trusting in us and believing in us and giving us carte blanche to do what we do the way we want to do it. And just, you know what, like just doing this thing. 2007, I get a phone call. Hey, Euphonik, there's an opportunity to do a Sunday night show on 5FM. Are you keen? First thing in my mind, I'm like, nah, fam. Because my thing about me was that like I was always like, you know, I'm just a DJ. I just want to play music, and somebody else can be the anchor or whatever. So I call Fresh, and I'm like, dude, this is what they've said, and this is what they've offered. So he's like, yeah, my man, so what's the problem? So I'm like, no, they want me to speak. He was like, yes, what's the problem? Anyway, I'm like, okay, sharp. I take the plunge. So around that time, because we're all at 5FM, Fresh is getting booked at gigs, and I'm getting booked at similarly the same gigs. And at some of the gigs, Fresh says to me, yo, what time are you playing? I'm like, I'm playing earlier on. He's like, no, come, let's just play 2 hours together. And that's how FU was born. And not FU as in FU guys, but like Fresh and Euphonik. So that's how that was born. And the interesting thing about that partnership, which also like taught me a lot, was that we never ever discussed how we were going to do this thing, how we were going to split things, who was going to do what, how it was going to happen. Until we did our first party, and it's time to split what we've made at the party. And he takes half, and he's like, there's your half. Now, generally, most people of Fresh's magnitude would have said, well, because I'm the bigger brand, you take 20% and I'll take 80%. So again, there's another lesson there from Fresh about how you treat people as equals. We do FU. First time I go overseas, Fresh gets me booked with him in London to go do a 4-deck experience, Fresh and Euphonik. Like, is this guy for real, you know? Like, all my wildest dreams, like getting ticked off, like bit by bit by bit. We start doing Miami in 2009, and we've been to Miami every single year since then. And the beauty about my relationship with Fresh is that I think we understand each other. Like, the bromance is real, because when we get on a plane, he just wants to keep quiet and do his thing, and I want to do the same thing. And I think he keeps me around because I'm that guy in his life that doesn't want to bother him. I just sit in my corner and then I just do my thing. We get to Miami and we're meeting like all the biggest superstar DJs, and Fresh is introducing me to those superstar DJs, not as, no, this is some kid that I'm mentoring and I'm trying to bring him up, as, hi Louis Vega, this is Euphonik. Hi XNX, this is Euphonik. You know, so throughout the music industry and the global DJs, I'm known as Fresh's brother rather than Fresh's Ndwana, you know? I don't ever remember a day where Fresh has said to me, because you're a lighty, fast. Like, he's never ever done that to me. and I would, like, if he'd asked. You know, but more than just learning about the DJ world, DJ etiquette, how to treat people, how to humble yourself, how to remain humble, how to not lose yourself as the person that you are, how to have longevity in an industry, how to keep your passion alive and your passion burning. I mean, if you think about it, if this thing was for the love of money, like Fresh would be in mining, he would be in government deals, he'd be in government tenders, but it's never been about the money. It's always been about, what am I passionate about? How do I chase those goals on a daily basis? Which is something that resonates with me very much, because till this day I tell a lot of people that, like, listen, if it's not music and if it's not this, like, I can't get involved because I'm not going to be passionate about it. I'm not going to spend a day worried about it. So let me rather work on what I'm passionate about, stuff that like matters to me, and let that be live. I've also learned the art of giving back to those less fortunate than you and to those around you. You know, Fresh has got the biggest heart in the world. I remember, I don't know where we were going, but we stopped at a petrol station to pour petrol, and after he poured petrol, this was like a long time ago, he gave the guy 100 rand. He tipped the guy 100 rand. Now, he tipped a petrol attendant 100 rand. And it's like, why would you give him that much money? And his reasoning was like, no, the more you give, the more you get. You know, and not a lot of people believe in the more you give, the more you get, irrespective of whether it's to your friends, it's to your family, it's to your art, it's to your craft, or it's to society at large. Another thing that I've learned from Fresh, just from watching him, is the importance of family. Now, I'm a father myself, and just from watching how Fresh handles his family, handles his kids, I've learned that, like, your kids and your family are the most important thing in your life ever. Like, I even remember him saying to me, my man, even if you get a rock pregnant, if that child is yours, look after the child. You know what I'm saying? So, like, now we laugh, but like we're in a country where people are neglecting their kids and neglecting their spouses, etc., etc. It's a very important thing that when you have a child, raise your child the way that you would want that child to be seen and perceived in the public in the future. You know, so those are like serious lessons that I've learned from Fresh. Yeah. And also, man, just like, there's not a lot of people that have done even a fraction of the things that Fresh has done in his career. And just by watching him and just picking up certain things about how he operates, how he thinks, how he's, like, the things that he's passionate about, when he's really excited, and how he talks about stuff. I mean, I've also had the privilege of doing radio shows with him where, like, I actually realized that, like, you know, I've been doing radio for so long, but I thought I take it seriously. This nigga takes these things very, very seriously, you know? Like, for Fresh, it's do or die when it comes to radio. And, like, his passion for radio is, I haven't seen anyone else in the industry in South Africa that passionate about executing a link, delivering on a show, delivering content that is valuable to the listener, and just being very entertaining and very engaging whilst you're educating. I could go on forever, man. Like, this dude has taught me so much about my own personal life and just how to carry myself as a human being and as a person, and how to treat other people. And yeah, man, tonight is here to celebrate you, dog. Don't cry, don't do that to me, yo. And big up to the person that got him into, what's it called? Is that a designer suit? What is it, bro? Okay, now let me tell you about the fresh that y'all don't know. No, I'm joking. Thanks so much, guys.